think it's a combined Radical race for now, with different kinds of the SR3s and also an SR10 in between it. So we have SR3 XXR, we have an SR10, and we do have an SR3 RSX. There are like, I think 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 liter Suzuki engines in it, different between the different classes. And we also have one car that's spun going into Huguenot's exiting Gerlach corner. It's spun, it's number 41 car, but it still is running, and he's on track again. Jake Williamson with the Radical SR3 XXR. Now, or not resumes, of course, continues his lap. I think the tires were a little bit off temperature, and he went around after exiting Gerlach corner. Total time that we will have this qualifying for the Radicals is 25 minutes, with still a little bit more than 23 minutes to go. Really nice sport cars, the Radicals, with Hamish Forrest now the number 95, who passes the start-finish line first. But first we have to see, of course, what kind of lap times they will show us. It's now at the end of their out lap, so we'll have to wait until the full lap on speed to see what will be their lap times. Already below 150 for Marcus Littlewood, who is one of the fastest drivers here on track at the moment. I'm then talking about the number 3 car. And probably one car did not leave the pit lane, or is not there, or his transponder is not working. We'll just have to see. That would be the number 98 car from Max van der Snel, who has a question mark in front of his name on our timing screens. Also, we do have two names that are well known here within the Radical racing. It's Robin Greenhall and Jerome Greenhall, the guys with the number 17 Radical SR3 RSX, who are now on 7th place. And there is Max van der Snel, who just had a question mark in front of his name, but now he's there. The number 98 car has a second time, 1:44.505, and fastest at this moment is, yeah, well, that goes really hard, fast. Hamish Forrest, Marcus Littlewood, and now James Pinkerton, the number 99, with 1:41.211, which is the fastest lap until now, and that's about 140th of a second faster than the number 3 car of Marcus Littlewood. But still, all times are improving. We like 99% of all the figures we see are in green or in purple, and that means that still the times are going down for this qualifying. And I think at the end we will maybe have a 140 or maybe a 139, depending on what they do on track, of course. Oscar Joyce now 8th with the number 59 Radical in 1:47.155, but that's already almost 6 seconds above the time of fastest guy on the track at the moment, James Pinkerton. Now fastest on track, Hamish Forrest with the number 95 car in 140 at 49,000, 94,000. So we're really close to going into the 139s. And we have a yellow flag in Gerlach corner. One of the cars went into the gravel bed there, is still driving, needs to get out of it. The number 12 car, and he will rejoin this qualifying. He did it very careful. So nothing wrong with that. The number 12 car of Peter Gustafsson, who drives the Radical SR3, but now 15th time. So 155.119, which is more than 15 seconds behind Hamish Forrest at the moment. Marcus Littlewood now the fastest on track, the number 3 car with 139.623. Makes him 2700 of a second faster than the number 99 James Pinkerton. With at this moment only 2 cars in the pit lane, the number 17 Robin Greenhall and Jerome Greenhall, and the number 4 car of Andy Lowe. The rest is on track. So Hamish Forrest, the fastest one on track with the 139.083. So expected the cars to go into the 139. That happened, but also a very low 139, which possibly gives us a chance to go below the 139 into the 38s. Let's see if it happens. The Radicals are really fast cars. Great to drive. I mean, it's really a competitive car also. With a relatively small engine, but still a very fast car to drive here at the racing track of Zandvoort.
Clock stopped, red flag, with 13.5 minutes to go. We're not sure what happened. We'll try to work that out. Yes, well, that's quite easy. There's somebody in the gravel bed. It's probably the gravel bed of the Schijfvlak. Very quick corner, quick right-hand corner. And it's Robin Greenhall. I'm not sure if he's behind the steering wheel at the moment. But anyway, we have to wait until that car has been towed out of the gravel bed before we can proceed in this session with the Radical SR3. As far as I know, UK-based series. Perhaps by mistake on the live stream, you can see Radical Cup Benelux on the top left hand, but I don't think that's correct. That's the other class we had earlier on with just 4 cars. Now this is a much bigger field, total of 16 cars. Most of them are in the pit lane at the moment. And the number 17 is on his way again. Yeah, for sure it was Greenhall behind the steering wheel because, of course, father and son are both called Greenhall. But whether it was Robin or Jerome, unfortunately we cannot tell. We do not get information from the teams who's behind the steering wheel when. They don't have to, I think, as long as it's one of either. So far, quickest with a time of 1:38.851, Hamish Forrest, the number 95 car. Marcus Littlewood in the number 3 is second quickest with a 1:39.257, so 4/10 of a second down. And Max van der Snel is third in the 98 car with a 1:39.699. So that's 8/10 of a second slower. And there's another car standing still that is into turn 13. That's probably Oscar Joyce. All the rest are back in the pit lane. Is the white car of Greenhall? Yeah, it's on its way. There it is into the pit lane. And Oscar Joyce's car stalled. Not sure if the car is damaged or simply has an engine problem or a gearbox problem or whatever. So it might take a little more time with 13.5 minutes to go. A bit more time before they can get on their way again. Now, chance for everybody to get into the pits, maybe change a few things. A little bit of setup change, probably not much. Maybe change the tire pressure a bit, because sometimes with changing circumstances that could prove decisive in that respect, that when it gets hotter and hotter, of course the tire pressure goes up while driving. So perhaps you should start your qualifying runs with a lower tire pressure. And Oscar Joyce's car is towed behind the gate at turn 13. That's the exit of the track to the paddock. And that means that probably within a minute or so we can get back on the track. Now, most of the cars in this class are Radical SR3 XXR. That's the last update of the car. There have been several versions of the SR3. I think XX was the previous one. There's one of those. And there's also an RSX, and I'm not sure what model that is. And it's green again. Clock is running, although in front of us there's still a red light. So that means that although the pit lane is open, exit of the pit lane is open, the colored boards, the digital flags, so to say, are still on the red, but are now off. So that's good. Everything's set to go for 13 more minutes of qualifying for the Radical SR3 Cup. We'll be racing tomorrow morning, early in the morning, 9 o'clock. So they start early tomorrow morning, Sunday the 13th of July, and they have another race later on at 12:05. So round about noon on Sunday the 13th. So and actually the Radical SR3 have a third race at the end of the day. So SR1 have 2 races, one at 9 o'clock, one at 12, and SR3 have 3 races, another one at 3:30, all the way at the end of the program. So, a lot of miles for your money, or kilometers for your euro. And let's see what can be done in 11.5 minutes as far as lap times is concerned. Now I guess most of the SR3 XXR cars are equipped with the 1500cc engine, putting out about 230 bhp. And they all have a 6-speed gearbox and a limited slip differential by Quaife, and have the possibility of telemetry, so when they come back in the pits there are all sorts of details of how the car behaved can be downloaded, and even, but I'm not sure if that's allowed, information to go from the car directly to the pits and maybe back, but that's not allowed in many classes. Hamish Forrest, so far the man to beat, with a 1:38.851. His last lap time was 1:43, so Hamish Forrest is taking it relatively easy. There he was. We have still Oscar Joyce with the question mark on our screens, but he's gone, of course. But his time of 1:49.88 does stand. So if the car can be fixed, then he can still start his first race tomorrow morning in 6th position, at least for now. And Max van der Snel has just set a time of 1:39.232. That brings him up to 2nd position, only just, by the way. He's 200th of a second quicker than Marcus Littlewood, who's now 3rd quickest. But still, nobody putting on real pressure towards Hamish Forrest. Well, some pressure, but Hamish Forrest has gone one quicker with a 1:38.808. Although that's just 4/10 of a second quicker than he was before, but still Hamish Forrest is the man to beat. Different classes here though. Hamish Forrest and Max van der Snel and Marcus Littlewood are in the S class. James Pinkerton is in the I class, quickest in that one. And the Stefan Petrovic and Mikael Bern are in the T class and in 7th overall. And leading the T class with 2 more cars in that class. The Radical SR3 XX of Nielsen and Lindberg, and the RS3 RSX of Robin and Jerome Greenhall. And I was sort of expecting the Greenhalls to be much quicker than the 1:51.729 that they did, but they've only done a total of 5 laps. And when they've been in the pit lane a couple of times, then they might have done just 1 or 2 quick laps. Last 5 minutes of this session running, qualifying of the Radical SR3. car number 14 has had one quick lap time disallowed because of track limits at turn 14. Now that surprises me. It's not... Oh no, sorry, it's car number 14 and it's probably turn number 3. That's where most of the cars do that. That's this corner that you can see on the live stream. If you're following the live stream, that's Hans Hugenholt's corner. That's the first bank corner. The outside line is usually the quickest. And if you go all the way to the outside, you cross the white line. It's not very white anymore, but still a line. And you're not allowed to cross that with all 4 wheels. You should always have at least 1 wheel on the inside. And if you haven't, then you lose that lap time. And that happened to John McLeod just now. James Pinkerton in the pit lane and the Petrovic Bern team in the pit lane. And a third car in, Peter Gustafsson. Ludwig Beck just set in a pretty good time in the number 63 car. I think that's the black and green car. Is it 1:41.963? He's now 10th. That means that Jake Williamson and John McLeod lost a place each so far and a place on the grid later on. And the quickest man so far, Hamish Forrest, might be challenged by Max van der Snel, who set the fastest first sector. Where's Van der Snel? He's somewhere in the first part. That was Forrest, 1:38.904. Quick, but not as quick as he was before. With a bit more than 1 minute to go. Max van der Snel went to 1:39.232, but last lap was in 1:39.617. In spite of that very quick first sector. So that is slightly disappointing for him. I'm not sure if he was aware that he was doing such a quick first sector, but if he was, then he will probably not have been very happy with the rest of the lap. Ludwig Beck also in, that's I think the blue and orange car. Number 63. And the first car that we will see now is Marcus Littlewood. Before he was second quickest. But that's where he stays. Max van der Stoel is also where he stays, namely second, and Hamish Forrest, the last one to just pass us, stays the quickest man by a margin of more than half a second, which is quite a lot in a class with completely similar cars, these Radical SR3 XXR, because they're holding the top 13 positions. So, a very quick roundup. Hamish Forrest, quickest, then Max van der Snel, Marcus Littlewood, James Pinkerton, Rachel Robertson, who hasn't finished yet, but I think she'll stay there. Oscar Joyce, Jake Williamson, Johan Leander, and Steve Petrovic, Mikael Bern. And then in 10th position, Alex Fischer. 11th, Ludwig Beck. 12th, John McLeod. 13th, Andy Lowe. 14th, Robin and Jerome Greenhall. 15th, Peter Gustafsson. And 16th, Andreas Nilsson and Johan Lindberg, if he's Swedish. That was it for the live stream of qualifying for the Radical SR3.